Ricky the Dog some credit on this one. Whoever you are, that burner was pretty spot on. A couple of blockbuster trades, same city, and two generational talents traded. Sports world in complete shock after Adam Schefter breaking that news around 5 Eastern time. You know how it goes. I was driving home from the doctor, and I'm like, oh, our whole show is changing. That's fine. Packers landing a generational talent. There's more context on that. Landing a franchise player in his prime at 26, at least a dozen sacks each of his first 4 years. The only other player who can say that since the stat became official, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Minister of Defense Reggie White, another man who started his career in the NFC East and then put on the iconic Packer uniform. Since entering the league out of Penn State in 21, his pressure rate highest of any player in the NFL. Not only that, actually posted the best pressure rate of any player since that stat began being tracked in 2017. At 17%, no other player is above 13%. Think about how significant a 4% increase is over anyone else. Not just the stats, it's the odds makers as well. Parsons has overtaken Aiden Hutchinson. Hope he's healthy this year after the injury last year for Detroit to become the betting favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. He'd be the first Packer to do that since Charles Woodson. Micah Parsons called it the honor of a lifetime to wear the star on his helmet. We're joined now by a man that did it with distinction as well, my guy Marcus Spears. And Swag, we were in New York City not long ago talking off air just about Cowboy culture, about the locker room you walked into as a young man out of LSU and how you benefited from some of the old heads that were there and what's different now, this and that. Anyway, I just give folks at home that backstory as a way of saying that this felt like it was off, but I just always think stuff's going to get figured out. This didn't. This didn't. How do you react to this news that he's not going to be a Cowboy any longer?
Well, SV, the first emotional roller coaster, you know, that hits first. And you're like, what the hell are we doing as a franchise? And I think of the Dallas Cowboys as my team. Obviously, you know, not only did I play for them, but I'm a fan. And to your point, you get lost in the conversation. Well, this is what Jerry does. This is entertainment. The contract will eventually come, and it'll be a day or two before the season starts, and Micah Parsons will be the highest paid defensive player in the league, and he'll play for the Dallas Cowboys. But as you talked about us in that green room last Friday, it felt off, man. It felt weird. It felt too personal for it to just get fixed with money. And you could see Micah, like, if you paid attention throughout practice, if you looked at the clips when they were at camp, if you looked at some games, he was totally dejected about being a Dallas Cowboy. And I think that ultimately was why this trade happened, to be honest with you, Scott, because in no way do you trade a 26-year-old in his prime, potential Hall of Famer, program-changing defensive end in 2025 in today's age of the NFL with what you have to do to affect quarterbacks.
Jerry's done a million different things that have benefited the value of the franchise. We all understand that. I've been talking throughout this entire program. They're going to be popular and valuable always. But in terms of the impact, positive or negative, how seismic does this particular decision land with you in terms of, man, this, hey, because listen, those draft picks could work out. We don't know that, but this one, how does it land with you as a guy that wore the star and a guy that pulls for this franchise?
Scott, is awful. You know, initially you have this visceral reaction because these are the guys you covet in the NFL, and you think to yourself, there is no way possible that Micah Parsons won't be a Cowboy. I think people want to look at this as one isolated situation. My frustration lies with the things that potentially led up to this. How much effect did that have on you not really being able to sign him and come to a conclusion where today he ends up as a Green Bay Packer and the highest paid defensive player in the history of the league with the most guaranteed money? It's not isolated, Scott.
Of course it's not, Swag. Look, 2 years ago, we sat in Tampa Bay before our playoff game, and I said, I've been here 20-some-odd years, and we've been doing some version of the same damn story for 20-some-odd years. And you know where I'm from, and you know where I live, and you know where we do this show. You know when things changed for the team that I root for here in Washington? When they got a new owner. That's when it changed.
Yes,
and it
sir.
didn't change until then.
Yes,
and
sir.
we all look, Jerry Jones owns his team. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. But my point is, this is just the next chapter in some version of the same story we've read for 25 years, is it not?
If you can express that frustration, think about how myself and Dallas Cowboy fans feel.
Oh,
We've
I'm
been
not
watching
frustrated
this
for
movie
you.
for a long time. Now, Scott.
I'm not frustrated.
Yeah, but listen, Scott, you're frustrated because you don't do business like this. Not
Right.
in today's NFL. Forget about the team that you root for. If you're on the outside looking in and watching the team operate like the Dallas Cowboys have, and you know what it takes to try to win a Super Bowl in this league, are you sitting outside saying, boy, I wonder what the hell they thinking over there? Because that in no way reminds me of what teams are doing to win championships. They lock up their young players. They lock up the guys that they draft that become uber superstars. We're talking about Micah Parsons like Micah Parsons is just a good defensive player. Bro, this dude is one of two people to have 12 sacks in his first years in the NFL. You know what the other guy was?
Reggie
Scott?
White.
Reggie White. Bro,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? So I like the calm and all of that. Cool. We'll get to the point where we talk about we won't know if this trade was really good for Dallas until it's 2 or 3 years from now. And we will talk about what the future looks like. They got Kenny Clark, who I think is a good player, but that doesn't change the trajectory of your football team. Jerry had a press conference. He talked about we need to stop the run. Okay, how you going to get to the passer? That's the question, right? So it's a lot of things, man, that just come to play. But I think everybody just has this visceral reaction about Micah Parsons being traded to the Green Bay Packers. And we mad about how Dallas has handled business. And my message to you, SVP, and my message to Cowboy fans and everybody that's been watching this story, this is a microcosm of what's been happening with this franchise for the years that we've been watching.
Well said, correct. I'll see you in Chicago a couple Mondays from now. We'll get this thing cooking again. Swag, I appreciate you always, my friend.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
You play to win the game. Hello?
I just like winning.
Fun's in the winning. Don't ever forget it.
Just win, Dana.
That's where the winners are.
Remember, it ain't whether you win or lose, unless you got money on the game. Cause damn, that's your money, son.
The glorious sounds of Trombone Shorty fill the air on a weekend where the temperatures across the country already feel a lot like fall. A time to be savored, to revel in the feeling that we wait for all year. It is here, and so are the winners. And, buddy, let me tell you, I wanted to write down a CVS receipt of dogs out of the sheer joy that I could, but I'm proud of the discipline. I did not, for instance, write down the Monarchs of Old Dominion. Was it because we had a flight that got diverted to Norfolk this summer? That ain't Norfolk, but we've had some travel issues. No, I like to think of it as growth and patience. I did, however, scribble down 7 on the card. And heavens to Betsy, there's already a favorite. Are you ready? Let's begin with a game as intriguing as any on the slate because I believe literally anything could happen in Waco on Friday night, and I'd believe it. The only certainty is that one fan base is destined to be irate before it's even September. I'm saying sick and Bears and Baylor on Friday night. After we all shed a tear at noon Eastern as Coach Corso throws on one last headgear, let's keep our minds and ourselves busy in that early noon window. We're on the Cats of Northwestern catching a bit under a touchdown from Tulane. New quarterbacks for both sides in that one, so why Northwestern? Well, what do I know? I know this.
I know for a fact. I'm just guessing also, really.
How's that? How's that for info and intel? Shout to the Mac, Tucker Gleason, and the Tenacious D song, Rocket Sauce. Toledo, plus the points in Lexington. Am I really going to do something this reckless week 1? I hemmed and I hawed, and I did it. I scribbled Florida State plus the points against Bama. Knowles, don't make me look dumber than I already do. Double digits at home in the debut of the fancy new dope. Just keep it close for your boy. You know about our appreciation. Triangle of toughness. It's well documented. Jeff Traylor's guys, tall task against A&M and Kyle Field against a loaded Aggie squad, but Roadrunners to hang around in the general vicinity. They're getting a bunch in that one. monster Saturday night game in Clemson, South Carolina. Get you some smoking pig, get your mind right, and buckle up. I'm all in on Clemson, as the saying is down there this year, as it has been for years. I'm all in this year. And as much as I love my friends from Baton Rouge, I'm laying points, riding with the home team Saturday night, and I'm riding with them all the way to Miami in January. Speaking of Miami, another enormous Week 1 tilt Sunday night as we sprinkle the action all across this weekend. I like the Canes. At some point, Mario Cristobal needs to be the guy that Canes fans all said he was going to be when he came back home. What is this, year 4? Clock's ticking. Opportunities don't come much bigger than the one they have against the Irish. I'm on the U. That's a lucky 7 on your dance card, and we're off. There will be ugly weeks. You will hate most, if not all, of the picks, but to quote Mike Tomlin, we do not care. I'm unflappable, if nothing else, and I'm signed up for 60. There's the birdcage. Do not parlay these picks. Why would you? Probably not going to go 7-0. If you did, that's what you'd get.